How to quiet negative thoughts. What does it take?
Manifestation Mojo to live the life of your dreams.
What you think about, you bring about. Whenever we think negative thoughts, we bring about a lot of times negative events. So how do you quiet these negative thoughts? And that's not really the easiest thing to do that I've found. What would it really take to quiet negative thoughts? What do you think, George?
Well, you and I have just worked out yesterday preparing for this that there is four things that actually worked for me. And the first thing was think of something else. The second was you helped me out with a body scan, which we had to think of, all right, well, what's a CT scan or something like that? And then we also talked about making something. For me, I like to make and I like to build things. And being out in the yard in my garden, that is a time where I forget about everything else. So that was a good one. And the fourth one was to force myself to focus.
Okay, so what do you mean by think about something else? I kind of get that, but tell me what your experience has been of thinking of something else.
A lot of times, like when I have negative thoughts and I'm thinking to myself, well, what do I have to do to get these negative thoughts out of my brain? Is I force myself to not just focus on something else, but to think of something else. If I'm driving down the street and I'm thinking about, let's just say the pool is broken and I need to fix the pool. Well, that's a negative thing because what's going to happen? It's all going to blow up and leak water. So I have to think of something else like, okay, either I think of a solution to it, or I completely think of, hey, I'm going to pick my son up from school. And what fun things can we do with my kid when we get home?
So, in other words, do you think it's really that easy to go from dwelling on, let's say, fear of the unknown or whatever, something else, and to transfer it to something that is pleasant? Don't we like to dwell on negative? And isn't that what the news is all about? Aren't we hardwired for negative stuff?
Hey, you know what? There's some kind of old saying about negativity. It fuels other people, and that's when people come together because they're for a cause of that they don't like something.
All right. Okay.
So it is difficult, Stan. It is difficult because a lot of times, including myself, I'm guilty of this. I'm thinking of all the challenges and not so much pleasurable things, but negative things.
All right. So you talked a little bit about doing a quick body scan. And I say quick because sometimes when you're having a negative, let's say a negative episode, let's call it that, that a lot of times we may not be in a position to do a body scan. If you're driving or something like that and somebody cuts you off, you have a negative thought. Tell me about your body scan experience.
The body scan experience I have not tried when I was actually like out driving because I'm trying to focus on driving. But the body scan that worked pretty well yesterday was almost like a meditation. So my body scan starting at the top of my head, closing my eyes and focusing on like a particular spot here right between my eyebrows. And then as I go down, my eyes are closed. So, there's times where I've squinted really hard and there's times where I just released. And I'm aware of that. And then my nose, which is, kind of my breathing, in my mouth. Is my mouth open or closed? That's kind of where I'm breathing. And then I'm thinking of, my shoulders. Are my shoulders tense? Or are they relaxed? And there was a time where I actually put my hands up and rested my chin on it, which felt really relaxing to me because it felt good. Some people it may, some people it may not, but I started at the top of my head and my body scan went through my eyes, my nose, my mouth, through my shoulders. And I think eventually it's going to go to my back. Okay, am I sitting crooked? Am I hunched over? Am I stressed in my sitting? Are my feet flat on the floor? Can I wiggle my toes? So the body scan that I did yesterday was from kind of the top down. And when I was doing the body scan with my eyes closed, there was no negativity and I was completely present.
So you were in the immediate now, and you weren't in the past, or you weren't in the future of something that either you didn't bring the negative thoughts from the past, or think about the fears to the future. Right, that makes sense. So tell me what you meant about let's say gardening or make something.
Absolutely. And that's a great thing because one of my core things that I've always done since I was a kid is I like to make things, I like to fix things. So out in the backyard, in my garden, there are plenty of things that need to be done. It's kind of going into the gardening season. And when I'm out there doing something that I enjoy, it lets me forget about everything else. All right. All that stuff is it's just put to the side. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just thinking about the dirt. I'm thinking about the plants. I'm chasing caterpillars that are eating the leaves on my pepper plants. There's all kinds of things. So instead of my mind on like the daily problems here at my house or whatever I might have, I'm out there in the backyard and I'm a totally another la la land, which actually makes me happy.
All right, that sounds good. So let's get to point number 4, which was you mentioned something about forcing yourself to focus. Why not focus on the negative?
Well, that kind of goes with the first one we talked about with think something else and to force myself to think about something else.
So do you think that forcing is good? I mean, to actually try to force yourself into good thoughts, is that really doesn't that sometimes make negative thoughts, emphasize negative thoughts, and that make them worse?
Well, absolutely. It can. But I need to sometimes force myself to focus on something else.
Oh, okay.
All right. I've been reading a good book called The Daily Stoic. And yesterday's chapter was revenge is a dish best not served. So when we talk about that and forcing myself to focus, when somebody does something to a person, or let's just say me, when someone like stabs me in my back and I can be really upset, and that's a negative thought. I can be really upset, like this guy did A, B, and C to me, and I'm mad. And what am I going to do? This is the revenge, okay? And so what I need to do is I need to think of something else. I need to force myself to focus on not taking revenge and focus on, okay, you know what? I can be the better person. I can end it right here. And so the idea is to focus from the negative to something non-negative, something neutral or something positive.
Well, let's talk about the positive that you just mentioned. The positive. What if you could, somebody did do something that would, let's say, annoyed you, or was, let's say, I can't think of the right word without using something in physical violence or whatever. Let's say they just embarrassed you or something like that. So
Sure.
how could you resolve the situation if somebody did do this to you? How could you resolve it in a positive way?
Well,
rather than just stopping to think about it.
Well, I want to address it. So maybe it's something that I have done in the past to piss the person off.
Okay.
That's
let's
the
say
word
that I was thinking of. Get pissed off. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
All right. Yeah. maybe I did something to, piss somebody off. There was one time I had a broken ankle. I was in a cast, I had crutches, and I was going into a restaurant to have a hamburger, lunchtime. And as I don't remember exactly what happened because it was a while back, but I remember there was a gentleman in front of me and something happened, like I couldn't hold the door for him, something like that. And so the door kind of closed on him a little bit. Something happened and he turned around and he immediately had that look on his face of anger and, oh, that SOB. And then he looked down and saw that I was crippled, I was on crutches, and I didn't have extra hands. And then immediately it turned from the frown to the smile. I didn't do anything there except that he realized. So that was switching kind of the places where he was upset and, oh, you know what? It wasn't his fault. Or that's the best he could do because he's on crutches.
So before we go into a summary of, let's say, the four things, what can we, let's encourage people to join us again and to subscribe to our channel.
That's right.
Hit the like button, things like that. So let's review the four things that you had mentioned of what we could, what would it really take to quiet negative thoughts?
So think about something else. If you've got a negative thought, someone cut you off in traffic, what would it take? What could you do? Is, all right, maybe the guy's in a hurry. Maybe somebody is sick. Maybe he's late picking his kid up from school and he's going to get a fine. It could be all kinds of reasons. Give someone the benefit of the doubt, or just think about something else. That's basically it. The body scan is just, hey, take a breath, or I don't know, Stan, what kind of quick body scan can somebody do?
Well, it's a matter of, okay, you could either tense the muscles and then relax them by focusing on, let's say, the muscles between your eyes and then relaxing them, squinting. How about even if you force yourself to smile and then just relax the smile? In other words, going through a whole tensioning the body or the muscles and then relaxing them. At the end, you're going to be relaxed and you're going to have forgotten about your negative thoughts. So we did talk about making something and going through, we used an example of gardening, and I used the one of windscreens. What else could you go make? You could go make dinner or a new recipe to do something else.
Absolutely.
It's an action. Just like I know you could also feel gratitude for the food that you have when you're making the new recipe. Okay, let's go to number 4.
Force yourself to focus on something else, which, let's just say, making something, you're cooking some dinner, focus on that. Do one thing, leave everything else behind, and focus on just getting one thing and doing it right, something that you enjoy.
All right, that's good. Hey, we're Manifestation Mojo, and we're here to help motivate you and to create the life of your dreams. What do we have to offer?
Well, Stan, I know that we've got a 7-minute meditation or something like that, or some audios. Those will be in the description below. And I like mindfulness, and I'm giving a mindfulness book away, and the link is also in the description below.
All right. So really, we talked about how to quiet negative thoughts and what does it take to quiet negative thoughts. Have a great day.
Here is another video we think you will find valuable. Highly recommend you watch it. Go there now to help manifest what you want.